Hello everyone, welcome back to Distributed Generation and Smart Grid lecture series. So in this session we are going to discuss about a few concepts regarding demand response. Demand response focus on reducing demand temporarily in response to a price signal or other type of incentives, particularly during system's peak period. So it is somewhat similar to that of demand side management. Uh, End user customers receive compensation either as utility incentives or reduction in their energy rate to reduce the non-essential electricity use or shift their electrical load to a different time without necessarily reducing the net usage. So, for example, a large customer may switch from grid supplied electricity to backup generators when called to do so by a utility. As per the instruction from the utility, they are transforming from or switching from grid to a backup generator, so that they, in a way, they are helping to the utility, so they will receive some incentives. So that is the demand response programs. So there are different types of demand response programs. Uh, so earlier it was thought that the competition among suppliers was sufficient to drive the market efficiency and reduce the electricity rate to customers. However, the performance from deregulated electricity market revealed that the market efficiency is more effectively achieved when the demand side also plays an active role. So, demand response is important. Demand response programs are broadly classified according to the customer motivation method. That is, by either by direct control or market price based, and the criteria with which the load reduction events are triggered or initiated whenever an emergency occurs. So when the utility offers customers payment for reduction of load demand during the specified period, then that kind of program is called load response program. And when customers voluntarily reduces their demand in response to forward market prices, the program is called price response. So sometimes the price is very high as per the utility, then the customers themselves they reduce their demand. But you can motivate the customers to reduce demand during the specified period if you are giving some payment. That is what is load response. So there are different methods for introducing load response and price response in order to increase the reliability and economic. By you can see some of the methods here: direct load control, curtailable load, interruptible load, and price response program. You can see critical peak pricing, demand bidding, and different kind of pricing are comes under that. So uh, demand response programs are described in terms of design components such as participation, operation, and settlement criteria. So participation criteria indicate whether the program is voluntary or mandatory, and whether the particular segment or specified customer is eligible for participation. And operations criteria include the event trigger criteria, whether it is by due to some emergency or any economic reasons, which entity controls the load reductions. And advanced notification usually range within the hours to 24 hours ahead, and eligible types of enabling technologies are already known. Then settlement criteria include incentives and penalty structures, billing system changes, and method of incentives or penalty disbursement, etc. So we should, whenever we introduce a demand response program, we should give the details regarding its participation, operation, and settlement criteria to the consumers. So the load response program. In a load response programs, utility offers customers payment for reducing their electricity demand for a specified period of time. Program participants can be considered as sellers, since they provide the load reduction in exchange of various economic incentives offered by the utility. Load response programs can take a number of different forms depending upon the program objectives and targeted customers and design components, as you can listed here: direct load control, curtailable load, interruptible load, etc. And direct load control. So these programs are typically a mass market program directed at small commercial and residential customers, typically less than 100 kilowatt peak demand. So customers sign up for the program to allow the utility to control specified end users at the customer's site. That means whenever a customer is already registered for this program, direct load control, the utility will utility directly control the customer's end devices. That is, customer load can be directly controlled by utilities. That is, in your home, if you are using air conditioner, the utility can switch on and switch off that air conditioner from their premise. That is direct access to your load. Direct control over your load is given to the utility. So nowadays in our system, your load you can manage yourself only. A utility cannot manage your load. But in case of direct load control, customers sign up for the program to allow utility to control specific end users at the customer site. The most frequently controlled end use is the air conditioner loads, AC load, but lighting is also possible for commercial DLC programs. So in some cases, water heating and pool pumps are targeted in residential direct load control programs. So incentive structures for direct load control programs are typically include a fixed monthly payment credited to the customer's utility bill plus a one-time participation payment. So they will get whenever a peak load period during an emergency occurs, the utility can itself turn off your AC. They can itself turn off your water heating system, etc. So that you will get the incentives. So DLC programs are relatively simple and inexpensive to implement. Generally, they employ load control switches or smart thermostat linked to the utility to reduce the loads. The second type is curtailable load. So curtailable load programs target medium size customers, 100 to 500 kilowatt peak demand, to large customers. And like DLC programs are which are curtailable load program are relatively simple to implement. These are and participants are agreed to reduce or turn off specific loads for a period of time when notified by the utility. So here there is no direct access on the load, but the participants are agreed to reduce or turn off their load whenever a utility inform them for a particular time period. So customers can switch off loads or adjust setting manually or automatically depending upon the agreement and availability of the control technologies. Utilities must notify the customers before a curtailable load event. So whenever the time period they will notify prior. So advanced notice is typically given minutes to hours ahead, but some programs notify participant up to a day ahead. Then interruptible load. So in this type of demand response program. Customers participating in interruptible load programs are agreed to switch off major portion or even all the facility loads for a specified period of time. That is not one or two load. Sometimes they need to switch off all the load for a specified period of time. So only a handful of the largest customers, that is greater than 1 megawatt, have the which having the loads and capability to participate in the interruption load program. In this scenario, the most common customer strategy is to use the facility's backup generator during an interruptible event. So the large customers means that they will definitely have some of the backup generators, a diesel generator or something like that. So they, whenever they sign up the agreement with the utility for a interruptible load, sometimes they need to switch off all the loads. So that time they can use their backup generators. So some large commercial and industrial facilities install backup generator to supply power to the critical loads in case of an unexpected interruption in power supplied from electrical grid. So because backup generators are meant to be used only in the limited number of hours per year, the customers install equipment such as diesel engines that have low capital cost but high operating cost. So this kind of demand response program can be implemented if we have a backup generator installation. Then another type is a scheduled load. So scheduled load reduction, as the name implies, are pre-planned between the utility and customer. So participants receive bill reduction as well as a significant advance notification, since the contractual agreement are set months ahead. The advantage of this program is that customers can plan to reduce the load on the predetermined day. So already they will agree for a particular time period, they will reduce the load. Thus the load scheduled load reduction. This much of load I will reduce for this period. That kind of agreement already done between the utility and customers. So these are some of the type of load demand response programs. And price response programs, you can see that is by giving the different times of different kinds of price tariff, different types of tariff structure, they can motivate to reduce the demand. So they can implement time of use, the load management based upon stepped rate structure, including peak, off peak, and the shoulder peak rate. So this kind of dynamic pricing, time of use, or dynamic pricing, or critical peak pricing, demand bidding, are different types of price response programs. This particular table gives a comparison of each type of price response program. So these programs allow customers to voluntarily reduce their demand in response to economic signals. So programs vary by the pricing structure, and they will give the advanced notification also. You can see different time of use pricing programs, as we already discussed that programs are based on a stepped rate structure. The utility will define the tariff structure for a different time in a particular day. They can measure using like a TOD meter, time of day meter, etc. Then critical peak pricing is a kind of a time of use pricing. Is a variation of time of use pricing tariff that tries to reflect the uncertainty and volatility of electricity supply cost. So during the peak hours they will charge maximum. Then another kind is demand bidding. So demand bidding gives the facility managers the opportunity to actively participate in the market trading by offering to reduce the load for a price. So the utility can itself bid or they can itself bargain for a particular price. They will reduce this much amount, so they will bargain or they will demand for the price reduction. That is another type demand response program.